Yeah, welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast Live. Yes. And you know what we're here to talk about. We are here to discuss the NBA Finals and the end of another season and what is a fairly regular occurrence, at least more regular for this franchise than any other in NBA history, and that is the Boston Celtics lifting another trophy. That's number 18 for anybody counting. I know the Lakers fans are counting, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But before we get to that, you know what time it is. If you're here on YouTube and you haven't already, please make sure you go ahead, click that like, that subscribe, that notification bell. Make sure you're kept up to date whenever we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio-only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in The Format Podcast, and we should come right up. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you give us that like, that 5-star review, and drop a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. And finally, make sure you write it down, put it in your phone, set an alarm, do whatever you got to do to remember. Saturday nights at 7 p.m. we are live here on the Format Podcast, and we'll give you the opportunity to call in, talk to us, get at me. I love it. I can't wait. All right. So, like I said in the little preview there, we're going to talk about the NBA Finals and the end of the season and the stuff that kind of goes along with that. Real quick, if you're watching on Instagram or Facebook, definitely appreciate you. Make sure you head on over to the YouTube page, The Format Podcast. Just click that like and subscribe button. I appreciate it. You can watch wherever you're comfortable, but make sure you click that like and subscribe on the YouTube page. It really helps us out. All right. So, as you can see, I got my main man G here with me. What's good, G?
What's going on, bro?
Maintaining. It's a good day for me. You know that. Obviously, being a Celtics fan for a very long time since I was a young man, like my son's age, it's always a pleasure for me to be able to watch them win a championship. And in fairness, I've only really been able to do that like 3 times in my lifetime that I can remember. This is the third. And so coincidentally, right? So last night, the Celtics win banner number 18. They beat the Mavericks. Basically beat them down in the clincher game 5 in Boston. And I don't know if you caught it. This was actually 16 years to the day that the Celtics beat the Lakers last time by 39 points in game 6 with Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, and Paul Pierce. Did you know that?
Big 3, nah. I didn't. Damn, I'm getting old. It's crazy.
16 years to the day. So it's beautiful. Anything's possible, right, KG? But yeah, man. So I guess we'll start kind of with your thoughts on the game and what you saw, or if you took anything from it, and I guess your overall thoughts on the game and the series, man. Go ahead. What you got?
I thought so as far as the series is concerned, I think Porzingis was probably like one of the unsung heroes of this series.
Mm-hmm.
I started with him because clearly he could barely walk and he hobbled out there, showed some heart. Was able to put up 16 minutes in the win. And so, aside from Porzingis doing his thing. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. So besides Porzingis doing his thing, also notice.
Oh, what's up, Transformer? What's good, my brother? How you, man? Hey, listen, I'm a Celtics fan, so today is my day to speak on the Lakers. You better get ready for some of that, man. You know what time it is. My bad, G. Go ahead.
Nah, besides Porzingis, doing his thing, I didn't think Kyrie stepped up, and maybe it was just a heck of a game plan by the coach, getting stuff done, putting a lot of different looks on him. And then even Luka, right? Luka had like a solid. I think he averaged almost like 28 a game, pretty much something around that number. Maybe like 20, 25 a game. So he showed up, but defensively he struggled, and I think that was that's the reason for this L. I mean, Celtics played really, really well. Yeah, it was a blowout.
Well, I don't know that you could say like him not showing up defensively is the reason for the L. I mean, that obviously contributed to it. He has to get better on that side of the ball in order for him to be able to realize his potential as the type of great player that he is. But the problem for me is this, right? Luka's never been a defender. Like, we can't expect him to get to this point and suddenly say, I'm going to defend now. Yeah, we saw him strap up for one game because he was tired of people talking smack, but we can't expect that this dude is ever going to be, well, I'm not even going to say Kawhi Leonard, or we can't even expect that he's going to be an above average defender. Furthermore, a good one or a lockdown. He's just not, because I think he's clearly more concerned about his offensive production, and that is what it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
but
you're absolutely right,
you
bro.
playing 4 and 5. You playing 4 and 5 on the other side of the basket.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
tough.
that's advantage Celtics all day.
Yeah, man, that's definitely tough. No, I hear you. It is absolutely a disadvantage, and it's like, what can you do when you're in that situation? But Dallas has been able to overcome it thus far, based so much on his offensive brilliance and the things that he's able to do, and of course in conjunction with Kyrie Irving, who is also a maestro. But I tell you, I don't think it's not that Dallas wasn't good enough to win, right? I think we hear in sports all the times it's about matchups, right? Styles make fights and all that, and this was just the absolute perfectly built team to deal with Dallas, because the Celtics in this case, at 1 through 8, like we talked about, could shoot the three. 1 through 8 is able to switch the pick and roll, even though they don't really blitz and trap a lot. But they have kind of rangy, relatively athletic defenders, guys who can move their feet, guys who have length, guys who can really get in the crouch and make it hard. So everywhere Luka turned, right? Because we always hear what Hunt the mismatch in the pick and roll, right? But everywhere he turned, there was a defender that could deal with him, so he wasn't able to really take advantage of the mismatch. And again, because the Celtics refused to trap the pick and roll, they weren't given the opportunity where they're left in a scramble drill, and you have somebody free that Luka can take advantage of, being an outstanding passer that he is.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you got 52 points from your guys, Tatum and Brown combined
Mm-hmm.
for 52 points in a
Right.
closeout game. Not seeing that type of production on the other side. So,
Yeah, no doubt. So it's interesting that that you bring up Jason Tatum, right? Because first, let's say this, G. You still on Mavs in 7?
so exactly what I said was, if it goes to 7, I'm going with the Mavs. That's what I said. If it goes to 7, I'm going with the Mavs because Tatum chokes in the bright light. He showed up. He
Right.
stepped up. He played today. I'm not going to be a Celtics hater. I'm not going. I'm not going to do that. That's not in my DNA. But I will
Right.
say he has the worst field goal percentage
That's
in
crazy,
the
right?
NBA history, and so, yeah,
So
man.
So let's clarify that a little. First, Native Texan, what's good, brother? Good to see you, man. Appreciate it. But no, let's clarify a little bit here, G. So when we say the field goal percentage, he has the worst field goal percentage of any player in NBA Finals history, minimum 150 attempts. So we'll say that that's actually the complete statistic, and he's at like 35% in the finals. So 8 games so far. That's 8 games, not 8 games, 9 games. That's pretty bad. All right, Transformer. Okay, bro. All right, you could be the Celtics hater today. You and Magic, right? You and Magic. And I tell you what, as a diehard Celtics fan, it hurts me to say that I love Magic. I think he's the second best basketball player ever, and that's a different discussion. But Magic is that great. But I love this tweet, and I'm gonna put it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put it up for you right now. Check this out, G. This was Magic last night.
I'm not a Lakers fan.
Magic was hurting last night. And if I'm Bird, I called him. If I'm Bird, I called him last night. Oh my goodness. But yeah, no, in all seriousness though, just watching what these guys were able to do. So I think there was like some interesting storylines, right? So Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, we think those guys are old, but those guys are really young. It's just that they came into the league young, right? I think they both came in at like age 19, so they're like 20, 26, 27 right now. So they're still young. They're not, they're just getting into their basketball primes right now, but it's just that they were so good so early, getting to numerous conference finals and then getting to an NBA finals. You think they've been in the league forever, right? But you heard all the noise for years, and we'll talk about that. We heard the snubs, we heard the disrespect and all that, but they kept fighting over all these years. They kept getting better. They kept pushing, and look what it led to. You know what I'm saying? Um, and it's it's interesting. Yeah, you a wild boy, Transformer. You a wild boy, but I don't expect anything less from a Laker fan, especially not today. Um, but yeah, I think the other thing that's funny, G, is remember before this series started, how much love Luca and Kyrie were getting. Oh, this is the best offensive backcourt of all time. Blah blah blah. They're talking about how the Celtics weren't tested coming out of the East, and the Mavericks were battle hardened and all of that, and all of that was true. I guess Boston heard it because they stood up and said, nah, we not about that. So I think it was amazing. And what would be more appropriate than a little bit of B-roll to kind of take a look at some of the stuff that happened last night. And you know what? As we see here with the drop-off pass to Jaylen Brown coming down the lane, Drew Holiday was really one of the unsung heroes, I think, of this series. Kind of tell me what you thought about his impact on this series and winning this championship, G.
Yeah, so I guess the game where he scored 25 points, he kind of stepped up, put
Mm-hmm.
y'all over the top. I believe that was what game two.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe
Game
so.
two, he stepped up and dropped 25 after. We would talk about him putting
Mm-hmm.
that, you had to call in and talk about, the fact that Drew Holiday can really put the ball in the hoop. So
Mm-hmm.
his defense, I mean, we saw it against the Timberwolves, not the Timberwolves. I'm sorry, the Tim. No, we saw his defense against Kyrie. I'm sorry, he messed up with Kyrie. Um, Pretty much slowed him down the entire
Yeah,
series.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, slowed him down. Took a lot of stuff that he wanted to do. Took that away from him,
Mm-hmm.
and just made it really difficult for him to get going. I think game four we saw Kyrie come to life, but then quickly his fire was extinguished. So here we
Yeah.
are, right? But yeah, I could say unsung hero will go to him. Absolutely. He had one of the tougher assignments on the court. Mr. Jalen Brown, Mr. Brown, pulling the MVP finals. Definitely was rooting for that one. I'm glad they got that one right because anytime they really needed a bucket, he was right there with it.
That's true, but did they really get it right? And the reason I say that, I'm not mad that he got it right, but the reason I say that is because Um, Jason Tatum led them in points, rebounds, and assists, even though he didn't shoot particularly well. And how often do you see somebody lead their team in points, rebounds, and assists in winning a championship and not get the Finals MVP? Like I don't think Jason Tatum cared. I really don't. He just looked so relieved to finally get the monkey off his back. But how often do you see it go down that way, where somebody who puts up that type of production doesn't end up winning the Finals MVP? I just thought it was interesting.
I thought he got it right only because
Mhm.
when they needed a bucket, he was there. Right,
Yeah, yeah,
his points was more impactful than I think Tatum.
that's a
Tatum
great point.
points.
I think you're right. I think you're right on that. Yeah, 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 yeah. So it's funny, right? Because you know, coming into the series, it's like everybody in the Celtics organization was getting questioned. Did you notice that? It's like Brad Stevens, like you've been hearing not just coming into the series, but for maybe the last couple of years, did he deserve the job of president of basketball operations? Because remember, when Danny Ainge stepped down, he just handed him the job. He took him off the bench from head coach and gave him that job. So it's like, did he deserve that? He couldn't get it done as the head coach. So how do you just hand him this job? You just handpick him. Did he make the right moves? And because we were also hearing maybe you need to split up Tatum and Brown because you're gonna have to pay these guys. They haven't won yet. Then you see he trades away Marcus Smart, defensive player of the year. He trades away Robert Williams, another impactful defender. He trades away Grant Williams, another impactful 3-and-D guy. Trades away all these guys. He gets Holiday, and he makes some quality moves. But at the time, they hadn't won yet, so people were concerned about whether or not he was making the right moves. National Sports Chats, what's good, bro? Thanks for checking in. Appreciate you. Numbers don't always tell the full story. Nah, absolutely not. I was just and I'm a full proponent of context being more important than raw stats. I was just saying that it's rare that you see a situation where somebody leads the team in points, rebounds, and assists, wins a championship, and then doesn't get Finals MVP. I just thought it was interesting, worth noting. We've seen it before. Most stats don't. Level of impact and consistency is what got Brown the MVP. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I just thought it was worth pointing out that it's something that's rarely seen. But yeah, y'all right. I'm not mad at that. So yeah, So we saw questions about Brad Stevens. Did he deserve to be in the position he was in, right? Then you see questions about Joe Mazzulla. Is he the guy, right? So 2 years ago, Ime Udoka, he's coaching the Celtics as a first-year head coach. He gets them to the finals, right? That's when they lost to Golden State. They just, I guess, weren't ready yet, and Golden State was already experienced in winning the championships, right? So you get that. Then Joe Mazzulla steps in. I think he got the gig like 2 weeks before the season started or something. So he gets the gig. He gets him to the conference finals, and he can't get him back to the finals. So people are asking, is he the guy? Blah blah blah. Well, clearly he showed it. He's the guy, right? Now he got him a chip. I thought that was interesting. Um, Obviously, we know a lot of questions about Jason Tatum. Ahem. No, even I have my questions about Jason Tatum. You know that we've talked about it. He couldn't get over the hump. We just talked about he has the lowest field goal percentage in NBA Finals history, minimum 150 attempts, and that's 35%. Um, he had what is it? Set the record for most turnovers in an NBA Finals 2 years ago against Golden State. So you're seeing all that. Jaylen Brown, he didn't get any All-Star, All NBA selections on defense or offense this year. People were saying he needed to tighten up his shooting and his dribbling, but it's like the Celtics heard all that, internalized all that, worked for it, and plain and simple, they got better. So I thought that was pretty interesting. His favorite of the picks, the coaching switch. He got it all done. Yeah, he did. He did get it all done. Transformer, true indeed. And you know what? This is interesting, right? So I think what you're seeing here is over the last few champions, right? So of course, Golden State was relatively homegrown, right? You're seeing Denver homegrown. You're seeing Boston homegrown. Now, of course, there's going to be some trades and stuff made by the organization, but what we're seeing is a reversal of that super team thing that LeBron brought into vogue, where guys were just teaming up, trying to skirt competition and stick it in the microwave instead of slow cooking it and developing it the way you should, right? And so now we're seeing that it's not working that way. Like LeBron tried to change the league to that, and it worked for him for a few years, but we're seeing that's not really the way that you get it done. And so to me, it's love to see that these organizations are saying, okay, we're going to draft our guys, we're going to scout properly, we're going to draft properly, we're going to develop. If we got to make some trades, to support our main cogs, then we're going to do that. But we're not going to be in this business of, just trying to stack, a bunch of Hall of Famers or a bunch of All Stars, thinking we're making a dream team and we're going to win a chip. Your thoughts on that, G?
No, I thought they are doing a good job trying to build a dynasty, but I don't think we're highlighting the coaching staff as well. They got some pretty good guys on the coaching staff as well, and I thought they was able to make those necessary changes and adjustments to actually close this out. They took
Great.
what Dallas does really well and turned it against them. Oh, you're going to shoot the ball, you're a high volume scorer. I'm sending everybody your way, and and I think that was like the tail of the tape. It was coaching, man. Like I can't stress that not enough. Like it was actually having a game plan and being able to execute it. We saw what happened when they don't execute; they get blown out by 30. I thought he did a good job of pulling them back in, getting them refocused, re-energized, and he was able to close it out. Thought that was a good job, good coaching job first and foremost, because you still do have a lot of young players, right? Tatum and Brown, they still under 28. These guys are under like 28. They've been in the league, wow. But that is like 1 year is like a dog year, I guess, in the NBA. But at the same time, you got to be able to bring them all in and expose, I guess the issue that I really thought was what happened with Dallas was, and I mean, of course, making it through the Western Conference Final, that's big. You should be praised for that. But what I really thought is once you brought Kyrie in, them only playing a half a season together, right? I didn't think the chemistry was there for them to actually be able to play when they're down. But then I was able to see that, and then I thought they was actually going not sweep the Celtics, but I definitely would have put them in 7 only because Kyrie been there. And I think the only other vet that Celtics, you might be able to correct me. I'm not sure who on the Celtics team besides the coaches has a ring right now.
Sam Cassell. He was on that roster in 2008 when they won.
Yep. So besides Sam, I think that was the only one.
Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday. Yep. Drew Holiday with Milwaukee. Yep.
But that's it, I believe.
Yep. And so yeah, man. I mean, that's a moot point because I think the only player besides Jason Kidd was Kyrie with a ring.
Hmm.
But yeah, man, it was a good series. My
Nah,
Dallas
not
didn't
really.
pull it out,
If
didn't
you
lose any
was
money.
3 blowouts out of 5 games, I don't know if I could really call that a good series. You had the blowout in the opener, you had the blowout in Game 4 in Dallas, and then you had the blowout last night to close it out. I don't know if I could really call that a good series.
Eh, Coaching. I mean, the firepower was there, the skill set was there. I'll say that. It wasn't like watching, I don't know what we got last year. What was it last year?
Miami and Denver.
Yeah, that was a blowout too. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think I don't know. I think it came down to that whole. It sounds what is it uh, stereotypical or whatever the term is, but I simply believe that the Celtics wanted it more. Like I think that's all there was to it. Like I don't think they were gonna allow these dudes to take that chip from them. Like I really believe they wanted it more. I mean that was my thoughts. Let's hear what Jason Tatum had to say in the post game about this. I thought he had some interesting comments. Check this out.
It's a real feeling. Still hasn't really kicked in yet. Just trying, I guess, enjoy the moment. I kept saying, "Wow." These last 7 years have been a roller coaster, up and down. I had to listen to all the shit that people said about me, and tonight it was worth it. Oh my God! I mean, this is gonna be a night that I'll remember for the rest of my life. From the game, the celebration, these moments. Uh, over the last couple of years, we had some tough losses at home in the playoffs, and we've lost the NBA championship at home in front of our fans. We had a chance to beat Miami in Game 6 a few years ago and lost that one. So to have a big win, the biggest win that you could have in front of your home crowd, I felt like that was really important to go out there and do everything in my power to make sure we won this game tonight.
So I thought what stood out to me is obviously him referring to all the stuff that people were saying about him. So we a lot of times we tell these athletes like, listen, don't read your mentions, put down the social media, don't listen to them. But I guess it's hard when that stuff is coming at you from all angles, right? Even if you say, all right, I'm a uninstall Facebook and I'm gonna uninstall Instagram and I'm gonna uninstall Twitter or X or whatever you want or TikTok from my phone. I don't want to hear it. Like it's almost impossible to avoid hearing this stuff because people are gonna come to you with it. Hey, you heard what they said about you, bro? What have you, right? It's really, really difficult to be able to do that. And so, he says, all this stuff that y'all were talking about me or that people were talking about me all these years. And I guess he used that to drive him. Now, I'm not at all gonna compare him to his idol. I that's a stretch, but he did use that stuff as fuel. And you could I don't know if you saw the post game presser, G. He really looked relieved. Like he kept taking these huge deep breaths. I don't think I've ever seen somebody look less happy and more relieved at winning a championship. Did you see any of that?
No, I didn't. I did not. It just, I guess it's an error. That's the error, right? Like,
Mhm.
I don't remember hearing Mike at the winning talk about how, you know, it was somebody else was talking about him, and he's so happy now that he don't have to hear their voice.
Mhm.
Um, I don't remember Kobe really caring about, anybody after he win.
Mhm.
I know you're a Celtics fan, and Tatum is a good guy. He's a young kid. He got a lot to learn. This is his
Yeah.
first one, so I think we talked about this a couple days ago.
Mhm.
And how certain folks should have like people.
Yeah.
Listen. I care about the authenticity of where he's coming from, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I would really like for him to just focus on his performance and not worry about all the gray noise in the background because you know
I feel you on that.
it's
I,
gonna
I
happen.
I guess you also think, when you're at that point, right? You just won the title, you got the monkey off your back, you feel like you can let people know some of what was fueling you and you can let it be known now because you're a champion and no matter what happens going forward, nobody can take that from you, right? You got you don't have it yet, but you'll have the ring. You got the trophy. The number 18, that banner is going to go down. And as a Celtic, you know now that you are able to walk into that room with the rest of the Celtic greats, and there's a lot of them. And you also know that you played that integral role in bypassing the Lakers. And I think all those are huge things if you are a Boston Celtic. I mean, think about it, right? If you're in that city, whether it's the Red Sox, the Celtics, the Patriots, you know what I'm saying? Like the Bruins, you're in that city, nothing is acceptable except championships, right? You got you got some NBA teams that actually raised division title banners and conference title banners. They don't do that in Boston. Like nothing matters except for the world championship. And so there's also that additional pressure that if you wear that particular uniform, you know that you have to win. If you want to be considered a great in that uniform, you got to win. And so I think there's a lot of pressure weighing on him with that. I think it's kind of similar like to when, although the words, the sentiments weren't the same, but remember when Paul Pierce won, it was kind of like that too. You know what I'm saying? When did Paul Pierce come in the league? 97 or 98. They won in 08. So like 10 years he was in the league before he got a chip. So in that environment, it's just different. That's what I think. And that's what I think you heard coming out.
Do you think that was more of like the Boston fans putting pressure on him, or was it more of like the entire NBA in itself, like everybody?
Everybody. I believe it's everybody. Yeah, because we heard, and you and I talked about it. Like I told you how long I felt like Jaylen Brown is super talented, but not Jaylen Brown. I'm sorry. Jason Tatum is super talented, but I remember I always said I felt like there was something missing. I wasn't sure what it was, but I felt like there was something missing. So regardless of how I feel about that, he now knows, I got a chip. You know what I'm saying? I have now joined the other Celtics immortals. I got a championship. Nobody can say anything. So I think that's kind of where that's coming from, And it's just different when you play for that organization. Jaylen Brown is my number one option still. Yes, because Jaylen Brown is not going to fall in love with the jump shot. If the jump shot's not falling, he's going to go bang on somebody. And I think Jason Tatum, even though he got a sweet jumper, he's too prone to falling in love with the jump shot, even when it's not falling. Like, I don't know if you were in here, bro, when we were talking earlier about Tatum and his poor field goal percentage in the finals. He was 1 for 7 for 3 last night. He was 11 for 24 from the field, which means he was knocking down everything else, but he was 1 for 7 from 3. Like, why? Like, chill with all the threes. Not saying you can't shoot them, but if they're not going down, do something else. We know Tatum is strong enough and skilled enough to go into the post. We know that. We know he's nice in the mid-range. We know he's got quickness enough to go to the basket. Do those things. Draw the foul. We saw him get a few and ones last night, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I think, I think you got to do those things. But I'm not mad at anybody who says that they feel like Jaylen Brown is their guy. I'm not mad at all. And then, so now you got the Coach Mazzulla thing. By the way, if you're watching this on Instagram or Facebook, really appreciate you. Please go on over to the YouTube page, The Format Podcast. Hit that like button for me. It really helps us. The more likes we get, it helps us to push the show out to more people. So really appreciate that. But yeah, Joe Mazzulla, he's another guy. We talked about him earlier, and how he was being questioned. Is he the guy? Can he lead this team to a championship? And didn't I tell you, G, that if they were to allow the Mavericks to come back and win that series, I would have wanted Joe Mazzulla fired? I think, right?
Yeah, man, you had a conversation. It was just, what they had, like 600 mil next year, something crazy.
Yeah. What is it? It's going to be 620 between the two of them. Between Tatum and Brown, it's going to be $620 million. So you paying all that money, you got this type of roster who is clearly an outstanding roster. Obviously, they won a championship. You got all that in position. Mazzulla can't get it done. He's got to go. And so there were a lot of questions about him. And so I was listening to Unsportsmanlike on ESPN this morning with Evan Cohen, Michelle Smallman, and Super Bowl champion Chris Canty. And Chris Canty had some interesting thoughts on Joe Mazzulla. Let's check those out, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
He's a championship-winning head coach. Nobody can take that away from him. But essentially, Brad Stevens handed him the keys to a Ferrari, and he didn't wreck it. and I will give him credit for not wrecking it. But I need to see more from Joe Mazzulla in order to prove to me that he is who I think he is. Show me that you can manage your team being able to have success at the highest level. Show me that you can get these guys to come back and continue to compete at a championship level while your window is still open. Show me those things. Show me that level of commitment. Show me that you can get your guys to continue to buy in and do the little things that lead to the big results. Then I'll believe in you more as a head coach. But, I mean, essentially you have a perennial all-NBA tandem in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum that not a lot of teams around the league can boast about. So I'll say this. Joe Mazzulla didn't get in the way of his team's success, so there is something to be said for that. But I'm not going to sit here and laud Joe Mazzulla as one of the best coaches in the NBA today. I'm just not.
All right, what are your thoughts on what Canty had to say about Joe Mazzulla here?
I think there's definitely some truth into it, right? Like we just talked about this, $600 million being tied up in two players. I do believe that, they did hand him a Ferrari, made a couple pieces, couple moves to kind of increase the team. But he has a coaching staff as well that I think will not let those guys fail. And you look at like teams like the Lakers and how they're like just pretty much in a meltdown.
They don't even have a coach.
Right. And so you look at like a lot of these big market teams like Miami, who else we have? Dallas, right? Dallas couldn't get it done. Some of these smaller market teams are going to test him. And so it will come down to the way he coached next year and the year before. But, right now he's hosting the trophy and, that's water on the bridge right now for them. They preparing for a parade.
That's right. So
though he had some good points.
Yeah. All right. So I guess before we move on to what we think about possibility of a dynasty or a repeat or anything like that, I guess the question would be, let's look at this from the flip side now. We've talked a lot about the Celtics, and I'm sure that's my own bias shining through. But let's try to be somewhat fair here, and let's talk about what does this mean for Dallas on the opposite side, right? Because they're in the West, and we know the West is just a dogfight, right? I think it's fair to assume, well, I guess we don't know what's going to happen in the offseason with trades and stuff like that, but I think it's fair to assume that if all the teams stay constructed relatively the same, that the West is going to be a nightmare again, and Dallas may not get out of it next year. Obviously, you have Minnesota. Anthony Edwards, if he takes it seriously, should get better. Not sure what they'll be able to add in the offseason, but we know that's one of the best defenses. Obviously, they were in the conference finals. You got the guy in Denver that most people believe is the best player in the world, and the Joker, Nikola Jokic. That's a very good team. Won the championship just a year ago. Who knows what the Lakers are going to be? Obviously, if you got Anthony Davis and LeBron James, they can always be competitive. Don't know if they're going to be competitive to a point that they can actually threaten for a championship or anything like that. Obviously, OKC, very small market team, very under the radar, but very, very good. That they were the number one seed this year, and they theoretically should learn from what they went through in terms of this playoff run, right? Just the youth and the inexperience of being there, I think, kind of hurt them. I tell you, a team we should probably be on the lookout for next year is Ime Udoka and those Rockets, because the Rockets, I think they missed the play-in by like a game or half a game this year. Golden State just beat them out. I don't know what Golden State's going to be next year. Probably not a real championship contender, and the Rockets aren't either. But the point is, the West is always tough, right? So you got to deal with the West if you are Dallas. So what are your thoughts on Dallas's chance to come out of the West again, or how hard is it going to be? Have we seen the best of Kyrie? What's the deal with Luka? I mean, give me some of your thoughts on this. I know it just ended yesterday, but off the top of your head, kind of where are you with that?
I don't think they're going to make it. The West is too tough, and these guys play really, really well, and I think injuries kind of affect the reason why some of the teams didn't beat them. Right? Like, and so especially with the way the trade game goes, teams today might not be the teams of tomorrow, and so
that's a fact.
Trade package could come up and just completely obliterate the team. You never know. So do I see Dallas coming back? I don't. I didn't see him getting past the Timberwolves, but
I didn't either.
So I guess I'm pretty much 0 for 2 in this playoffs.
That's right. That's right.
I'll take it.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Yeah, I'm looking at this thing, and obviously we know Luka is clearly the linchpin for the Mavericks, but you're saying, okay, Luka has to get in better condition. He has to commit to attempting to play some level of defense. Are we gonna see Kyrie able to play for the most part the way he played this year, next year? He is getting up there. Kyrie's like 32 now, right? So he's starting to age a little bit. He's not as young as he used to be. Does that mean he can't play anymore? Of course not. He's still super skilled, but you're wondering like what type of adjustments either to personnel or in play style is J Kidd and that front office going to make with the Mavericks next year. And again, like I was saying, like you look at OKC had that number 1 seed this year. What are they going to do to get better? What have they learned from this instance of losing in the conference semifinals this year? I don't know. And then, of course, Jokic and Denver, they're champions, right? So I don't think they're just going to fade away into the ether. You know, that's a very good team. Maybe they just they ran into a bad matchup in Minnesota, but that's still a very good team. So you just, you got to look at it and say, man, that's tough. And then even on the flip side, if you're the Celtics, I think the assumption is that you'll probably make the conference finals, but you can't assume you're going to go right back to the finals. What's the chance you get lucky with major injuries to everybody all the way through again, right? That's likely not going to happen. So, yeah, that I will say this: like I've always harped on parity in the NFL, but it's very interesting how, for whatever reason, parity has become the thing in the NBA now. And honestly, I kind of like it. Like the NBA was boring when we knew every year it was going to be Golden State or every year it was going to be Cleveland with LeBron, but or Miami when he was there. But now we're actually seeing like there's a chance that we're going to get somebody different every year, and I really like that. What you got, Native Texan? Klay Thompson would be a perfect addition for us. That would be. Yeah, that would be Luka, Klay, and because Klay don't need the ball a lot. He moves well without it. He's not the defender he once was, but he's a great catch and shoot guy. And Kyrie and Luka can attract a lot of attention. That would be a good pickup. And that's funny because when you're hearing all the stories about Klay Thompson recently unfollowed the Warriors on his accounts or whatever, and I guess he wants some decent money. I don't know if Dallas has it under their cap to be able to pay him, but that would be interesting if they could add that. That's another bit of offensive firepower that might actually work. And again, he's not ball dominant. He doesn't need it a lot. So what you think about how that'll fit, G?
So I do think they need another star, right? I definitely do think they need another star, but I don't think offensive firepower is the issue. I think they add a lot. Attempt to add more defensive-minded person. I think at this point, Klay will probably you'll start to see him being his skills declining. We saw that in Golden State, where he wasn't putting out the production that he needed to. They need a dog. I think they go young instead of picking up Klay. I think he's just a spot-up shooter. That's all we pretty much going to get from him. And he's going to be a liability in a team that's already plagued with liabilities on defense.
Interesting, but that does further spread the floor and make an opposing team run even more on defense, which theoretically gives Kyrie and Luka even more room to operate, though, right? Like, I get it that you need to defend, but this is the NBA and defense is less important today than it ever has been. But it gives those guys a lot more room to work.
I still don't think you go with Klay.
Okay.
I think we might see Klay in New York somewhere before we see him in Dallas. But then again, it all depends on the cap space, right? But again, right, with your Celtics actually winning the chip this year, what does that mean for the team that's coming back? Will you guys look the same? I think you have like three players whose contracts are ending. When you sign Tatum, right? Yeah, when you sign Tatum, are you able to keep those players? Right, that's the question. Are you able to keep this team together? And so, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Can you replace Al Horford? Absolutely. Right. Can you replace what's his name? Forget his name. Man, Derek White. Can you replace him? Absolutely. Right.
I don't want to replace him though. Derek White he's he's a really good role player.
Yes.
A really good
Yes.
role player.
Yes. Yes. But I mean, can you get that output? So much back to the Texans comment. Can you get that same output from somebody else who won't ask for another 40 or 30 mil? Like, how much are you willing? How much are you getting Klay Thompson for? Is the question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the key. So
That's-
here's the thing, right? Klay Thompson is coming from Cali. He played his entire career in Cali. He lives in the Bay, which is, at least judging by BAH rates, was at the second most expensive housing market in the country, right?
Right.
For those of you who's not military, BAH, basic allowance for housing, basically extra money you get when you're on active duty for your housing costs based on the cost of living in that area. So anyway, I would say this: if I'm Dallas and I'm trying to get Klay and he wants 40 mil, I'm like, listen, Klay, we can give you 30, because there's no state income tax here. It's a lot cheaper to live here. Your money goes a lot further. Like, those are little bargaining chips that you can kind of. Now, is somebody going to be willing to give up 40 mil? Nah, but it's just one of those things that you can kind of. Exactly, native Texan, no state income taxes, correct. And so just like Florida. So that's one of those things. And I think, matter of fact, that Orlando is looking at Klay. But anyway, that's one of those little bargaining things that you could throw in there. Like, I know you want 40, but you're coming from California. Your money's going to go a lot further here. So just something to think about. I don't know. I think that could be a very interesting fit. I do. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. If he wants to continue to be able to be in a position where he could possibly compete for championships, as well as make a little bit of decent coin before it's all over. My opinion, wing defender will have a bigger impact than Klay coming there. Offensively, they can get better incrementally with a few pieces. I mean, we say that, but I think he wouldn't have won it for him, but I think if Dallas has Klay in this series, it makes a big difference. It adds a lot. But that's my thought.
Depending on what Klay shows up.
Well, I don't know that you're expecting to get 2016 or 2017 Klay, right? But if you get one, obviously he can still shoot it. And if he can move his feet a little bit, I think it'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think. All right, so let's go back to the Celtics a little bit. Obviously, again, we know they won the championship last night. So the next thing that's going to be discussed is, with that team being as young as it is, what's the possibility of them repeating or possibly running off a little bit of a dynasty, a few titles? G?
Nah, I have nothing. A dynasty, I don't see that. It's I didn't think they was going to get this far, but of course there was a wounded East that they was able to get to the final through. Right. So I mean, I don't think we can start talking dynasty. Maybe you can, because you're a diehard Celtics fan. But
I can't.
I mean, you lose by the third most in a series finals history. I don't think we can discuss dynasty. Now, if you get that sweep, then maybe yes, but I just don't think that team, especially given that the three of your role players, your key role players, will probably be gone, and then a lot of your money will be locked up in two players. That'll be hard to replace your roster, with injuries and all that stuff that goes on. So I don't know if they're completely built to be a dynasty right now. But we just have to see how things work out.
Yeah, I think people are looking at the youth and saying there's a possibility in that, but it'll surprise you. But I agree with you 100%. I don't see dynasty. Number one, we talked about the parity that we're seeing in the modern NBA, which I think is a really good thing. Secondly, to your point, you got a lot of money tied up in two guys. Now, with that said, if I'm the owner of the Celtics and I just had this deep finals run in this championship, we know how much money long playoff runs generate, especially when you got home court advantage, and we know how much money championships generate. So I pay the damn tax and try to keep these guys together, right? That's my thought. But even still, I agree with you. It's not going to be – now they know now what it takes to win, but here's the other thing, right? Actually, Transformer, I'm with you. Dynasty is a major stretch. Even back-to-back is a stretch. They caught some breaks in the East. Philly, Milwaukee had already been taken out, and they were the biggest threats. I'm with you 100%, bro. Even as a Celtics fan, I got to be objective, and I got to be honest, and I agree with all that you just said. And so now I'm looking at this, and I'm saying, all right, cool. back-to-back is going to be tough. But again, there's something to be said for knowing that you won and knowing how to win now, right? But even still, what happens now if Doc Rivers kind of gets this thing up and running in Milwaukee, right? Giannis can stay healthy, and him and Dame actually figure out how to play together, and they, that coaching staff works out something so they get their 1-2 going. That becomes a very, very dangerous team in the East. I want to say Philly. I guess it's going to depend on who they get, but Embiid can't freaking stay healthy, so I cannot count on absolutely native Texan Giannis being out was huge. I can't give Philly too much love because I can't count on Embiid. That's we can't count on Embiid being there when you need him the most. Like, he never has been. So there's that. And even when he has been there, he's never made it past the second round. We know how good Embiid is when he's healthy, but I can't see that. Miami, I'm not really concerned. Well, I shouldn't say that because we've seen what they can do even without big name pieces. They're just that good, and Spoelstra's that good. But I don't know. I think it's safe to say that you can probably kind of pencil the Celtics into the conference finals, but again, the East is going to be, providing people are healthy, the East is going to be a lot more dangerous next year.
I think with their so they got 4 returning starters next year, given if they don't decide to sign Dirk White, right? So they'll have 4: Porzingis, Drew Holiday, and then the 2 super kids, Mr. Brown and Tatum. So even if they do decide to replace, or they don't decide to bring back Dirk White, I still see you guys going to the playoffs, deep in the playoffs.
Yeah,
finals, I can't say that, but I will see you guys going deep in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. And this is a good comment from Transformer. Embiid can't trust his body, and even if they get Paul George, the other problem is Paul George gets hurt a lot too. He's really good when he's healthy, but he's another guy consistently getting injured. I don't know what. These are the modern players that are supposed to be so much more highly evolved, and they're so far superior than the players that came up in the 80s and 90s. But, I'm going to tell you straight up, that's a bunch of crap, because these players today, for all the modern science, for sports medicine, nutrition, and all that, they can't stay on the floor. So whoever's telling me that they're better than the players today, man, save it. They're so much more highly evolved and so much more advanced and all that. Yeah, man, get out of here. But, so I would love to see Paul George play with Joel Embiid. I think that'd be a vicious one too. But yeah, to that point, neither of them can stay healthy, so that's a problem as well. Caesar, a top 3 team every year in the East with this roster. Them getting back to the finals. Yeah, no, it's a possibility every year, right? But we saw last year they didn't get to the finals. They were down 0-3 to Miami before they won the next 3 and then lost Game 7 at home, right? So the Celtics, they have everything they need, but clearly they can be beat. We can't count on them to be what they're supposed to be. This is the first year that they finally got through. But regardless, I guess today is probably not the day to be breaking all that down, because they did end up getting the job done. And so, that's huge.
Celtics got the most championship titles in NBA history right now.
That is correct. What more would you expect, man? Come on. No, they just passed the Lakers. Matter of fact, let me share that tweet again. They just passed the Lakers last night. They were tied at 17. So yeah, interesting. Yep, I love that. And you know what's crazy? As much as Celtics fan as I am, I love Magic. I think Magic was just so incredible. Like, I love Magic, and it hurts me that I love him so much as a player, because I shouldn't. But he was just that dude. What do we got? No Pores and no Drew was last year too. Those were major pieces. Not great point. Even though the Celtics actually this year were better. I think they were like 84% without winning percentage without Porzingis. They were like 21-4, and they were like 73% with Porzingis. So kind of a weird dynamic there. But no, I think to your point, Transformer, Drew Holiday, I think he's the one. He's the difference maker. Gee, how important is Drew Holiday? Like we see what he does. He defends. He can make shots. Is there something specific, like one thing that you see watching him as a player that you would call out that you think is like the difference maker with him in terms of what he can do?
I mean, Kyrie is one of the most shifty ball handlers. The one of probably the best shiftiest ball handler that we have
Hmm.
today, right? And he
Hmm.
was able to hold them to under 20 points in multiple games. He's the lock, so he can get to those spots that other players can't get to. He put his hands in places where, I guess, to turn the defender a certain type of way.
Hmm.
He is definitely a lock in this game where there almost aren't any on the team. So when you talk about you guys winning the championship this year, like a lot of that was on his back, and then you put a Jalen Brown there who can. You put both of them on the side and push the defender to the side of your strong side, and now you have two premier defenders on your probably one of your best players on the court. And I think that was the game plan going in. We was going they pretty much let Luca do what Luca does, right?
Hmm.
We're gonna let him score 30 points. We've seen this multiple times. We're gonna let him score multiple points, but we know he's not gonna play defense. We're gonna hold Kyrie to 20 points and maybe 7 assists. I'm not sure about the official stat. I didn't check it, but pretty much a lot of his points were besides game 4, right? Was it game 4? Yeah. Besides game 4, he didn't show up. It looked like Kyrie choked, but that's because Drew Holiday was on it. So it's
Hmm.
my
Yeah.
perspective of it. Yeah.
No, I feel you. Drew Holiday, man, that dude is special. He really he's got a great he's got a great confluence of being able to defend, like being an elite two-way player in the modern NBA. He's that
Yeah.
like a lot of Celtics fans were kind of disturbed when they let Marcus Smart go because of the defender and the floor leader that he was. But Drew Holiday has that, and he's a better offensive player. So when you combine the two, like you get something real special there. And I think, yeah, Drew Holiday, man, he's that dude. And now you got to start wondering, like, is Drew Holiday more important than people think? Because remember, Drew Holiday went to Milwaukee, and that same year he was there, his first year there, they win a championship. And then he goes to Boston, first year there, they win a championship. That's a kind of, I'm not saying for sure that that's it, but those are kind of weird empirical evidence things that say, man, Drew Holiday is a difference maker. So I don't know. I think you definitely have to ensure that you keep him. Matter of fact, I think they extended him already, so you got him for a few years. Porzingis, that's gonna be
27, 2027. Porzingis
Holiday.
is yeah.
Okay,
2027. You guys have him. Yeah.
nice, nice.
Yeah.
That's what's up. If you're in the chat, y'all, or if you're watching on Facebook or Instagram, please make sure you go over to the YouTube channel, The Format Podcast. Just type that in. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate it. More likes we get, it really helps YouTube's algorithm know to push this out to more people. So appreciate that. Drew, I see you in the chat saying nonsense. Tatum is going to be a Laker. Man, stop it. Where you get this stuff from? Don't worry,
Yeah.
we're
That's
gonna
funny.
open up the phone lines. Let's see if you got the heart to call in and talk your
That's
nonsense.
funny. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah,
Man.
it's real funny though how Laker fans, they got this thing, and if you look it up, it's a real thing. It's called like Future Laker. They think everybody's gonna be a Laker, and it's like, yo, everybody don't want to play for y'all. Like, stop it. I don't know where they get this from. Like, okay, they're a great organization, true indeed, but everybody doesn't want to play for the Lakers. Like, if I'm Tatum, there's no way I ever put on purple and gold. Like, why would I do that? I'm already en route to being a Celtic legend. Why would I want to go? Yeah, that don't even make sense. But
I'm trying to figure out how Mr. Brown didn't make the Olympic team, but Tatum did. That's crazy work.
yo, you and Tatum, man, you got real
I'm trying
issues.
to figure that one out, man. Like I think that
What
was
Brown do for you?
yeah, man. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe it has to do with fit. I mean, don't get me. I wouldn't be mad either. But I don't know. Has he? I don't think he's ever made the Olympic team. Tatum's been on it already, so maybe it's just the international experience in FIBA might have something to do with it, right? Because a lot of times you hear people say like it's an adjustment playing with the FIBA rules and the FIBA style and the court dimensions and all that. So maybe like they are USA Basketball is more willing to take somebody who's done it before if they're still playing on a high level because they're more familiarized with the differences playing in FIBA. I don't think it would stop Jaylen Brown or give him too much trouble because he's a physical guy anyway. He plays defense and he's not a guy that's necessarily going to be like try and hang out and shoot threes or whatever like that. So I don't think it would be problematic. But Tatum's been there, done that. So they're like, we'll just we'll just put him on there.
I know it was rumored that Dark White, right? Yeah, Dark White would replace Kawhi. And
I think I heard that too.
So that put y'all at like three players on that team, which is crazy.
What up? It's not that serious. Good to see you, bro. Thanks for checking in, man. I appreciate you always showing support. No, I think that wouldn't be a bad move. Obviously, you lose some of that size defensively or that ability to really go down into the post offensively. But Derek White, obviously, he can stretch the floor. We know he can hit the three, and he can defend on the perimeter. So you lose some defensive versatility and some strength. But I don't think that's a bad move to have Derek White, if need be, to replace Kawhi on the roster. I wouldn't be upset at that.
Yeah, it's another time for another topic, another time.
Yeah, another topic, another time. All right, G, you got anything else to add, man, about the finals and I guess about the end of the NBA season and anything before we go ahead and open up the phone lines?
No, I don't have anything, brother. Thanks. I don't have anything.
All right, wait a minute. Before I open up the phone lines, did you did you give Tatum his official apology, man? Did you do that?
I thought about it, but then I saw that his finals stats were just terrible. I mean,
his final shooting percentage.
Yeah. I'm more of I'm more of a Mr. Brown type fan. He played both sides.
Yeah,
He plays really loud, right? Always it produced those momentums, changing buckets.
Yes,
plays.
He does.
That's just the style of play that I kind of cater to.
Yeah,
Tatum remind me of LeBron a little bit.
I'm waiting to hear this because I'm waiting to hear where this is going because
especially after that press conference, it was like, man, I was like, and then so here's my thing with Tatum. I think he's a solid player. Man, he'll put the ball in the hole from almost anywhere on the court. Just like most of the other young and up and coming players, right? But it's the constantly calling Mamba. And I understand you giving man props, but
yeah.
I mean, I guess right now is the time that he said, okay, I called on him and then thank you Mamba, and I'm channeling Kobe Bryant for this one, and he was able to pull it through. And so I guess you get a pass. You get a pass for winning the chip, but
What? So you're a what can Brown do for you kind of guy, huh?
No, I wouldn't say all that. I just
I
seems right. I'm not a Celtics fan, but it just seems
I got you.
Anytime they need a bucket, it typically came. Except for this last game, I think Tatum stepped up and did what he needed to do. Yeah,
which I think was really big in the closeout game. What up, Nino? Good to see you, bro. Yeah. No, I think that was very good. So what I will say though, G, is that even though, especially in this series right here, obviously Tatum's shot wasn't falling. He was not shooting very well for the bulk of the series. I love that he got it in other ways though, right? He hit the glass. He was getting the assists, like getting guys buckets. So that right there is what I love. And what I'll always point back to is Game 7 of the 2010 finals, which still burns me when the Lakers beat the Celtics to tie us at 17 championships, and Kobe, I think, was 6 of 24 from the field, but he had 15 rebounds. Like, the great ones find a way to impact the game, even if the shot is not falling. And that right there is what I really liked about what I saw from Jason Tatum in this final series. The shot wasn't falling the way it should have, but guess what? He was still getting it done other ways. He was hitting that glass, and he was, he was assisting the basketball. And not just the finals, he was doing it for the entire playoff run. He led the team in points, rebounds, and assists all the way through. So anytime you got a guy doing that, that tells you that, you got some players that when the shot's not falling, they just hang their head and there's nothing else they can do. They don't want to defend. They don't want to pass. They don't want to rebound. They don't want to run. They don't want to try to do anything. And I didn't get that, because all he cared about was, I got to find a way to win this chip. So, I respect that But I get you. He got to make them
Contract,
shots.
yeah. His contract, yeah. He cashed in his chips, so you should get paid.
Oh yeah. But I mean,
Yeah.
he was going to be what? He was first team All NBA, and obviously an All Star. So he hit all the metrics that was going to get him the Supermax deal anyway. But I hear what you're saying. Now he got the championship, nobody can say anything. So yeah, I hear you. Yeah. All right. Well, what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna go ahead, open up the phone lines. Even if you're on Instagram watching, if you're on Facebook watching, if you're here on YouTube, that's okay. Dial 904-219-8264. 904-219-8264. Call in. Give me your thoughts about this series. Give me your thoughts about what you see from the future of the Celtics or the future of the Mavs. Tell me, in your estimation, what could the Mavs have done to maybe slow this thing down or possibly win or something like that. Give me your thoughts. Hello?
Big baritone Bruce.
What's going on, B? Do me a favor. Mute YouTube in the background.
Yep.
What's going on,
It is
brother?
here
How
by
you doing?
muted.
All right. What you got, man?
Hey, look here. I just want to say, first and most importantly, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the podcast. I'm proud of the platform. I think you're doing an amazing job.
Appreciate that, brother.
It's such a blessing to see us from a real estate perspective meeting at first, us talking back and forth about some doo-doo green Celtics. I think that's what they call them. Boston. They, oh my God, my apologies, brother. My apologies. They're called the Boston Celtics, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, man, as a Laker fan, I'll give you your props. Okay, you guys got it done. JB definitely deserves that MVP, in my best opinion.
Okay.
From an impact perspective, the consistency, he was just a little bit more consistent to me than Jason Tatum was. Jason Tatum seemed a little bit more timid.
Mm-hmm.
It was like he couldn't get a shot to fall. He was too reliant on something that just wasn't working. When JB put his head down,
Mm-hmm.
defensively, he got a bucket. When the series needed, he got a bucket. And I think that's what the impact that drove the Celtics on those runs, sustained the runs, and every time Dallas came at him, he had an answer. He like, okay, look, JT, you just don't have it. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Batman, Robin, today I'm Batman. You bound, get on the board, do everything else except score. I'll handle that point perspective, everything else that comes with the game. So that was my biggest takeaway from the final. It was one-sided. I know y'all asked that question earlier, bro. It was definitely one-sided, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna throw away game four. Game four, in my opinion, man, the C's had already wrapped everything up. They're like, look, we taking this to Boston. We're going to party in Boston. I don't even know what a party in Boston looks like, but they made sure that was going to be the biggest thing ever for them. Them being all 26. It's hard to say it, man. 25, 26, 27 years old. And, they're hanging up banner. Oh, don't make me say it. Banner 18.
It is.
Don't make me say it again. But, man, it was huge, man. It's huge. I think the C's are going to be a formidable opponent for years to come. Like I just said, they're young.
Mm-hmm.
That Drew Holiday piece was just god awful. Oh my God, take that tweet down, sir. I'm still looking at it. Take that tweet down. Take that tweet down.
Oh, I love it. It's
blasphemous, man. It's blasphemous. Jesus. But like I said, man, Boston, they're going to be a formidable opponent.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious to see what Philly does, whether they get PG. Like you said, I mean, PG gets hurt all the time too, but like I said, it's just another threat. Milwaukee, like I said, they're a formidable opponent. Giannis going down was a huge loss for those guys. But the season's going to be a top three. They're definitely going to be top three for years to come with that roster, as long as JB, JT stay together. Porzingis, Drew. Brad knows what he's doing, man. He knows what he's doing.
He apparently does.
If the Celtics want to make one of the first ever Laker trades, we'll trade Rob Pelinka for Brad Stevens.
No, that's all good. No, you can keep him.
I think it's fair. I think it's fair, man. We'll throw in a couple of chicken wings, a couple of tacos. You know, we do the taco thing in LA. So, you know, we'll throw in some tacos free for the year for you guys. Man, just give us Brad Stevens, man. He's doing one hell of a job, man. But yeah, you guys did it, man. Congratulations. Banner, whatever comes after 17, you guys got it.
Oh man, I love the rivalry.
I hate to say it, man. I don't know what my Lakers are gonna do. I'm curious to see if you're gonna accept my invitation. I want to be on the next segment. I gotta discuss it, bro. I don't know.
We can do that. I got no problem. We can do that.
I don't know, man. But like I said, man, you guys are doing great, bro. You guys are doing great. I'm proud of the podcast. I'm proud to see where it's going, man.
Appreciate that, brother.
It's still forever gonna be F them Celtics, man. I'm gonna keep it PG-13. But it's not all about them. Larry Bird, I'll give you that one. That's it. You give us Magic, I'll give you Larry, and I'm gonna keep it at that, man.
Oh man, I gotta. If I know anything about basketball, I got to give you a lot more than just Magic, man. We know how, you know, we talk all the Lakers Celtics stuff, man. But any true basketball fan and any true Lakers fan or Celtics fan, despite the hatred, we respect how great the other side is, and you know that's just how that is.
No, man, absolutely, brother. I mean, they're the biggest names in basketball for a reason.
Yes.
You know, this rivalry goes back before I was even born. You know.
Yes. Well before.
The Bird Magic series, the Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain battles, the Paul Pierce, Kobe Bryant battles.
That's right.
Like it's so much of a rivalry, and we're in two totally different conferences. You know what I mean? That's what makes basketball great. I definitely wanted to see us get there this year. It would have been box office just to see the name Lakers and Boston back in the finals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
LeBron James. You mean LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Porzingis, Drew Holiday? That's major. That would have been major for sports. Period, man.
I think so.
But yeah, man, it's going to be quite the sight to see, especially going for the future, brother.
Oh yeah, just wait. I know who y'all coach is going to be.
Yeah, I got an idea of it too. You know, I'm just I'm rolling with the punches. Right now I'm getting punched, man. I feel like, you know, I'm Frank Martin and right now everybody else is Tank Davis and we're just getting punched, bro. Uppercut to the chin, left hook, knockout, brother.
Oh my goodness. You like that, right, G?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, brother, man, I'm gonna let you guys be to it. I know you guys got other calls. You know me, I will talk on your line all day, and I will give nobody else a shot, brother. But hey, again, it's been a blessing. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of watching you guys on this platform. I pray it continues to grow, and I look forward to being a possibility on one of your shows.
Yeah,
brother.
man, we're gonna I'm gonna give you a call offline, and we'll line that up, man. Definitely, I appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. Godspeed. Let me go back and turn my live back up.
All right, fam.
Yes, sir.
All right, later. All right, Native Texan, I think you were trying to call in. I think that was you with the 817. So go ahead, give me a call back. I saw you there. Sorry, I missed you. But yeah, I think that's him right there.
Yeah, that Tank Davis analogy was dope.
Yeah, it was very dope. Hello?
Hey, is this the podcast?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's going on, Native Texan? How you doing, man?
Oh man, I'm kind of down bad. I'm a little bit down bad, hoping a little bit this morning, or today. But congrats to your Celtics for winning y'all's championship. Y'all were the better team. Y'all deserve it. I'm sorry to the Laker fans out there. I'm sorry my Mavericks couldn't get it done and couldn't prevent that. But I'm sorry to y'all. I don't feel that animosity towards Boston like in basketball, like. Because I'm a Mavericks fan, more than I am like a Celtics hater or whatever. And
right.
I was just kind of glad that we got there. I mean, when it comes to like football or something, that's a whole nother story. I'm a Cowboys fan, so I'm mentally ill there. I'm completely delusional. I am that archetype of we are going to win the Super Bowl every year.
Oh, you're that guy.
No
okay.
Yeah, I am that guy. We them boys, like after beating the Giants. Yeah, we're going all the way. I'm that guy.
I got you.
But as far as like on the Mavericks end, our general manager Nico Harrison, he's really good. So
yeah, he is.
I'm optimistic about our future. And I mean, I think Klay Thompson would be a good piece, but I think the transformer brought up in chat that we need maybe a wing defender or go younger. I could also see us, doing something like that. But I'm optimistic about our future. And I was just, wasn't a bad playoff run for a 5 seed. I thought that Luka, when he did play defense in the playoffs, I think he played his best defense in that Oklahoma City series. That game where he had a block on SGA near the end of the game. I think that was Game 5 of the OKC series. That's when if he could give that same effort consistently. I mean, I have seen him play defense in flashes. He just doesn't do it consistently. But if he could get that down, he could take his game to a whole nother level, because he's just a wizard on offense with that ball. I've never seen anybody pass as good as him. He's had some crazy passes. But yeah, the Celtics were just better, and Tatum, he's maybe it'll be a situation for Dallas. I hope that y'all lost a couple years ago to Golden State, and y'all stayed with it. Got back, and I hope that we can stay with it. Maybe get Kyrie another ring. He is getting a little long in the tooth, but I love Kyrie. I'm glad. I'm a fan. I'm a Kyrie fan. I've always been. I liked him in Cleveland. I've always liked him. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I just wanted to give you your props because I knew you were a Celtics fan. Just,
I appreciate that. I have tried, a great deal to be objective about it, and not obviously as a fan, you're happy when the team that you follow wins, but I try to look at it as fairly and as objectively as I can. So I think that they have they being Dallas, they have a lot to look forward to if they can make the little tweaks that's necessary, and if Luka is willing to make the changes that are going to make him a better player. Remember, there was one series, was it after the 2004 finals? They asked Kobe, what are you going to do this offseason? He was like, we lost, we weren't good enough. And they asked him, what are you going to do? And he said, I'm going to work myself to exhaustion. Now, again, everybody can't be Kobe. Everyone's not built that way. But hopefully Luka has some of that and says, okay, I need to do something different if I want to be able to lead this team to a championship, right? Because remember, everyone's already saying that Luka's better than Dirk and he's the best Maverick ever and blah, blah, blah. But Dirk can always say, I led that team to a championship. We got to the finals twice and I won a chip. And, I beat the super team Heatles. I didn't just beat anybody to get the chip. So I think Luka needs to maybe step back, take a look at that and say, if I want to definitively be the best Maverick ever, or I want to definitively be the best European in the history of the league, I'm going to have to, because Jokic already has that leg up, right? Jokic has a title. So if Luka wants to continue to be in that race, he's going to have to do things to make himself better physically and mentally in terms of being able to make that happen and to win. Because at the end of the day, when it comes down to it and you start measuring these all-time greats and having these discussions and all that, winning matters. It has to matter. So, he's got to think about all that stuff.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I'd agree with all that. And I'm just going to try to, I'm just going to try to move on to football season. And this never happened. Just forget it, get amnesia about it. But whenever football season rolls around, I'll give you a little more contentious pushback and back and forth a little bit. Won't be so amicable. But basketball, I'm pretty chill, and everything. And I know you're an Irish fan, Notre Dame fan.
I am.
I'm an Aggie fan. Oh man, August 31st.
That's
man,
right.
That's going to be fun. Kyle Field's going to be rocking. And I'm going to give an early hot take before I bounce off here. I think that A&M is going to win SEC championship before Texas or OU. And I'll say that right now. Oklahoma ain't getting one before we do. Neither is that team in Austin. So,
All right. I like that. Yeah. That's good stuff.
We ain't got Jimbo Fisher anymore. We got an actual coach.
No, Mike Elko's legit.
And the talent and everything ready. We got an adult in the room now. We got a guy that has his crap together. We coming. So gig them.
No,
I'll let you go.
Okay. Well, one more thing before you let me go. So if I'm not mistaken, NFC East plays AFC North this year, don't they?
Yeah, we got your Ravens.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And I'm
I'm
gonna tell
worried.
you, we're gonna put a beating on y'all. I'm telling you now.
Man, I'm worried about Tyler Guyton, about replacing Tyron Smith. He went to the Jets, and I mean, I think Guyton will eventually be good, but he's like really raw, and he's going to need time to develop. And we play y'all early. I think like the third or fourth game of the year, and I mean, man, y'all are the Ravens, or that defense ain't to be trifled with.
No, it's not.
But,
and I tell you what, Tyler Guyton, I think I can speak for him when I say he's not happy with you calling his alma mater Choklahoma. He's not happy about that.
Well, CD Lamb wouldn't be either. And
there you go. I
CD,
forgot about CD. That's right.
Yeah, I love CD. That's my favorite Cowboy right now. But yeah,
I got you.
Yeah. No. All right. Well, take it easy, man. Y'all
all
have
right,
a
brother.
good one.
Hey, thank you for calling, man. I appreciate it.
Bye.
All right. Nino, I see you called, man. Go ahead, give us a call back, man. I see you. G, while we waiting for Nino, you had anything to add off of Native Texan there? He has some good calls, man. I like what he has to say.
Absolutely, man. I think we definitely seen Luka and Dallas take some key pieces off the. It wasn't easy for them to get to the finals. They didn't have like a layup, and they were in there. So he took some key pieces off the table this year.
Right.
Even though he's a liability on defense, I think his offensive, he's a supreme offensive scorer when it comes to putting the ball in the hole. Is he better than Dirk? I don't think he's going to be better than Dirk until
here's Nino. Let's grab this and we'll pick that back up.
There it is.
Nino, I think we just missed him. Nino, my bad. Call right back, man. I got you this time for sure. Call me right back. Yeah, I like talking to Nino. He's always got something good to say.
Absolutely.
Nino.
What's up, man?
What's good, man? Thanks for calling.
Congratulations to y'all Celtics, man. Y'all Celtics, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. What you got for me, Nino?
I really got a question for you to put some knowledge on me, man.
What's
I want to know. They go back to the media again.
Okay.
Now, see, that's why I'm enjoying these podcasts more than mainstream TV lately. I want to know why do every team? Why does it seem like they want to put like the Celtics? They want to put Brown or Jason Tatum on top of one another. It's like you can't be a team no more. This player, you need both. They on the same team. I don't understand. Like they were talking about breaking them up earlier, and these guys are still young. Why would you do that?
So I think my bad. Go ahead.
My bad. Go ahead.
No. I was gonna say, to answer your question, at least my take is, when you're saying like, why would they put Brown and Tatum against each other? Because it makes for a juicy story, right? And if these guys start hearing this stuff, and I'm not saying they're deliberately trying to do this, but these guys start hearing this stuff, and ego starts getting in the way, and now it starts making some division in the locker room and whatnot. It's more stuff to report on, right? It's more stories, because at the end of the day, sports are soap operas for men, right? If we're being honest, it's not just who won, who lost, who scored, who didn't. It's all the storylines that go with it. We love all that, right? That's as men, that's our thing. We enjoy that. And so you have more stuff to report, you have more stories, right? And so I think, and again, I'm not saying or accusing anybody in the mainstream media of deliberately trying to drive a wedge between the two, but it's that. And then also, when you start looking at things down the road, in terms of you start ranking guys, in terms of who's the best in the league, and then who's a top 10 all time, or who's top 5, or who's in the GOAT argument. Not saying either one of those two guys will be in it, but when you start thinking about those different things, it's really hard to do if you have a well-formed team, right? So for instance, it's like, I did a show a few months back, basically saying that there's a legitimate argument that Tim Duncan is better than LeBron James, right? But nobody's going to say that, because even though he's one of the best players of all time, one of the most accomplished, one of the winningest, he's not an alpha dog in terms of he's like one of the ultimate team players. You know what I'm saying? And so when you get that, it's hard to identify somebody as being a definitive leader and being the definitive A1 guy. You know, like on every team LeBron's been on, just about, you can say he was definitively the A1 guy. Now, whether that's because of skill set or because of other factors, that's a totally different argument. But you can say that he was the guy. So that's what you're looking for in terms of being able to start making these comparisons and making these measurements and making these lists and all that. So if you have Tatum and Brown just working together perfectly as a 1-2, it makes it a lot harder. The best argument I could come up with, not the same, not apples to apples, but apples to oranges, when we think about, and G, tell me if I'm wrong, when we think about Stockton and Malone, nobody can definitively tell you who's better between the two, right? Because they work so well together, they're a unit. Am I right on that, G?
Yeah, you're right. I think, and this is me spitballing, but I look at like the ingredients is there to see if they are, at odds, right? One being, Jaylen Brown got snubbed for the Olympics, right? He Finals MVP. Jason Tatum will probably make more money than him next year. Tatum,
Yeah, he will.
pretty much wearing his heart on his sleeve, right? Being extremely vocal and criticizing his naysayers, and so it's there, right? Like the ingredients is there to see if there is any dissension in the ranks, or if there are actually at odds. But I mean, this basketball, you want to chip, and so like you said, in addition to making a juicy story, how do you feel about Jaylen Brown, and Jaylen Brown, how do you feel about Tatum? So I mean, it's just media stuff, really. It's just media stuff.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I agree with y'all too, but it's for real basketball fans that like you said, Tim Duncan. The average, I agree. The average, I just watch basketball in the playoffs something or commercials. You ain't gonna appreciate Tim Duncan,
right?
But real sports fan, basketball fan, Tim Duncan was a real monster.
Yeah, he was that.
He
dude.
didn't have to say all that. He's a monster. But it seemed like I compare Jordan to Pippen. You didn't have people. Pippen was major talent. Everybody give him props now. He's talent. But you didn't have people trying to say, Pippen, hey, you need to be number one. Even though Pippen might have felt that in his heart, he played his role.
Yeah,
well, I
he
feel
knew
like
better.
players, like Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah.
But
that was the difference, though. Like Kobe believed that he could be a number one, but he knew that he could never really be that or show that with Shaq being there. That's why he was like,
that's where I'm going with. That's where I'm going with. Imagine if Kobe could have put a little bit. What we love about Kobe. Imagine if he could have swallowed a little bit of that and kept Shaq. How many rings he could have really had?
That's right.
Because he struggled. He seen you can't win with Smush Parker now. Now
right.
That was
right.
If you were the one with Smush Parker, everybody been saying you to go.
Nah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
He said, "No, I'm gonna leave now. I'm gonna leave you." Then they went to go got Paul and Lamar, got you some players. So I feel like Boston, if they can edge out some of that noise and stick together, they can get one. They can get one or two more.
Yeah.
If they can get, because social media is fool now.
Yeah. I think again the key is we got to see what happens in the East, because it's highly unlikely they're going to get another cakewalk through the East the way they got it this year. Now, don't get me wrong. Part of the cakewalk was they were that much better than everyone else. But, all those injuries. And again, every champion gets some luck along the way, but they got a whole lot of it this year.
Yeah, but both of them still young.
Yeah, no doubt.
If they could, now I ain't gonna say they're going back to back, but 3 or 4 years, they can get one more in 3 years.
I think so. Yeah.
Yep. But I agree with you though, man. I just want to hear your perspective on it, because I've been seeing it. That's all I've been seeing on Twitter.
No doubt, man.
Jaylen Brown stole Tatum MVP.
No doubt. You got anything else for me, Nino?
No, that's all I got.
All right, brother. Thanks for calling in, man. I appreciate you. Appreciate the support. You always listening and calling, man. Thank you so much. All right, brother. Have a good one. All right. Yeah. So we'll give it a couple more minutes if anybody else wants to call in, give their thoughts on the finals, the future, Dallas, Boston, the Lakers, whoever it may be in the NBA. Obviously, this is not going to be the end of NBA content for the year, but now the NBA content, probably after the next couple weeks or so, is going to start to slow down. Obviously, big story we got coming is whenever the Lakers officially announce their next head coach. We believe it'll be JJ Redick, but it hasn't officially been announced yet. And then obviously the draft and what happens there. And of course, the big story of the draft is who drafts Bronny James and where does he end up? And then, of course, what happens with LeBron James, who we presume is going to stay with the LA Lakers. I think he's very, very comfortable there at this point. So those are some major stories in basketball. And of course, free agency. Does a guy like Paul George end up in Philadelphia or something like that? So there's still some things that are going to happen in the NBA. But unless again you're living under a rock or you just have no idea what's going on, the Boston Celtics won their 18th World Championship last year, breaking the tie with the Los Angeles Lakers, and they will put the banner up at the beginning of next season and they'll get their rings. And so Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown finally got over the hump. Speaking of that, G, before we get out of here, how I keep saying, what can Brown do for you? Jaylen Brown really freaking needs an endorsement deal with UPS. He really does. Like that would be awesome to see him in a commercial, with the uniform on, like throwing a package on somebody's front porch or something like that. I think that'd be real cool. That'd work real well. I'm surprised his agent hasn't reached out on that, but I think that'll work real well. But yeah, so the basketball content is going to keep coming. It'll eventually slow down, but by the time it slows down, it's going to be pretty much time for the Olympics. So we'll do Olympics, and of course we'll keep with NFL news and college football news in there. We'll cover that as well. And then by the time the Olympics are over, it's full-fledged football season, and that's going to be wonderful. That's going to be an incredible time of year. Obviously, I'm gonna have a lot of fun with my guy Native Texan. Like he mentioned, August 31st, Notre Dame and Texas A&M opening up the season. That'll be a great one. Prime time on ABC, I believe, Saturday night, 8:30 p.m. So that's going to be a 8 or 8:30, whichever. That's going to be a huge game. Can't wait for it. And then, of course, the NFL season. So got a lot coming up on the sports front. And again, if you're in the chat or if you're in on Facebook watching or Instagram and you haven't already, please go ahead, like, subscribe, give us that thumbs up. We really appreciate it. It helps us so much. Subscribe to the channel, share the channel with other people that you know that love sports talk radio. And Drew, I see you in the chat, but you're scared to call in. But it's all good though. It's all good. You gonna text me talking nonsense after I get off of here, but it's all good. But yeah, I guess G, we're not gonna have any more calls for tonight, so we can go ahead and leave it here, bro. Anything you want to say before we roll out?
Nah, I don't have anything.
All right. So listen, thanks everybody for tuning in. No show tomorrow night because we wanted to get on here and talk about the NBA finals and kind of the end of the year. We didn't expect it to run this long, but got some good feedback from you guys, and that was awesome. So we appreciate it. And no show tomorrow night. So I guess probably a throwback Thursday episode. Won't be alive, but I'll get that out on Thursday. And next show will be Saturday night. So yeah, next live show I should say will be Saturday night. So we'll be back with the next episode, and I'm out. Peace.